Hey guys, Jake with my Bring Back, and today we're going to be starting a new series, and this is kind of going to be catching everyone up with the Xcode 4.2 tutorial series. And what I mean by that is we did initially some Xcode 4 tutorials. There were some changes when Xcode 4.2 came out, and there was a little bit of confusion from the old tutorials, from the new SDK and all this stuff. So that's what we're going to do now, is catch everyone up on some of the basics within Xcode 4.2, and then hopefully that'll bleed everyone together, basically up to 4.2, and everyone will be ready to take off from there. So if you guys are a little bit more advanced and you know kind of what you're doing, this probably is more of a beginner stage, but go check out the other tutorials on the Xcode 4.2 stuff, and as we catch these ones up. So what we're going to do is we're going to download Xcode 4.2, and actually I've already got it, but if you haven't downloaded it, go to developer.apple.com, or you can go to your Mac App Store. There's two places to get it. So go to either one of those, or just search Xcode, and you'll find the download link eventually. But you need Xcode 4.2 to develop the iPhone applications or the iPad applications. So first go and download that. Once you download it, it'll take you a couple hours, but once you get it downloaded, you're just going to open up the Xcode. And when you open up Xcode, you're prompted with choosing a template within the project here. Now what you see is over to the left, you see the iOS, you've got application, you've got frameworks, you've got other, and then you've got the Mac OS X over to the left as well, which you can develop for Mac applications. In our case, we're going to be developing for the iOS devices, and within our applications there's a few templates we can choose from. So you can see we've got master detail, OpenGL game, page based, single view, the list goes on. You've got simple, a basic empty application where you start from scratch. So there are a few options to get you guys started on that. Now we're going to go ahead and start with a tabbed application. And so what we're going to do is select the tab application. We're going to click next. Now when you click next, you're going to see we're prompted with another set of options where we give the product a name, then we give it a company identifier, and so on and so forth. So this name we're going to call is the simple starter. And as far as the company identifier, this comes into play when you guys release your applications. You're going to have to put in a company identification, and then also when it compiles, it's going to add, as you can see, it's going to add your bundle identifier with your product name here. So that basically gives it an identity in the Mac App Store, which it has to be standalone. It can't be it can't be used by any other application out there. So in our case, we've used the logic that most people use as far as a backwards URL, mybringback.com, so on and so forth. So then the next thing that we go on to is class prefixes, which you can actually add these that'll be added to your created classes. We're just going to leave ours blank, and we don't need any class prefixes, but you could simply put ABC, and anytime you implement a new class, that ABC is going to be put on the beginning of your class there as a prefix. The next set of options is going to be the device families, and this is going to be crucial. If you're developing an iPhone, you can select iPhone only. If you're developing an iPad only, you can select iPad only. If you want to do a universal, if you want to do an application that can be ran both on iPhone and iPad, you can do that. So you can pick and choose that. I typically just go with universal. Even if I'm only developing in the iPhone currently, you can switch off the iPad version so you don't have both of them running. So I would typically go with universal. It doesn't hurt you any to go with just the universal device family or one or the other. So that's up to you guys. Okay, now the new things to Xcode 4.2. This storyboard. The storyboard's huge because it basically, in Xcode 4 we used to have xibs, XIBs, and those were where we design the user interface. The storyboard basically takes all the .xib files that we've designed in the past, and it puts them all into one area that's really nice to manage, and we'll show you that here in the next tutorial. And so I would select using storyboards. It makes it very simple, makes it very easy to connect and see where your application is moving, the flow of controls and everything like that. So select use storyboard. The next thing is going to be the use automatic reference counting. And I had done a tutorial about this in the past, but just to go over it really quickly, you basically don't have to release your objects, and the memory management is handled a little bit by the compiler. There are some nuances to that you got to be careful of, but we'll touch base on that when you get to them. As far as that, keep it selected. It's going to be very helpful, especially with where we're going with our applications. It's going to be very helpful for what you guys are doing. And then include unit test. Now this is a little bit more advanced. It has some features for testing on the side that you can run, duplicate your systems and all that. So I usually leave it selected. You don't necessarily need it to build an application to start. So going from there, you're going to click next, and this is where you're going to save, where you want to choose where you want to save your application. And voila, we are launched into Xcode 4.2 with our project developed. So that was kind of an intro to getting to this point. In the next tutorial, we're going to give a little bit of a tour of the new Xcode 4.2 and the features behind it, and then hopefully we'll continue forward to get caught up to the other tutorials that we're doing. So that's kind of the basics. Hope you guys liked it. If it's a little bit too beginnerish, take a look at some of the future tutorials, and then we'll get everything caught up and start moving forward a little bit faster. Alright, we'll catch you guys in the next tutorial.